Vice President Kamala Harris, former Republican Representative Liz Cheney, and conservative radio host Charlie Sykes held a swing state tour in suburban Waukesha County, Wisconsin, on Monday night. This event was the third and final conversation-style session between Harris and Cheney, moderated by Sykes, that took place on Monday. Waukesha County, which helped Republican Scott Walker become governor in 2010, was chosen as the last stop of this campaign event. The county, a GOP stronghold, has seen a slight swing toward the Democratic Party between 2016 and 2020. The goal of the event was to appeal to moderate Republicans and independents who could be persuaded to vote against former President Donald Trump. Harris, Cheney, and Sykes focused their discussion on common issues, such as Trump's disregard for democratic institutions, his threat to the U.S.-led global order, and his character.
Exactly how unfit Donald Trump is?
I do. I also think that, that they have been very clear so far. I mean, you've had hundreds of national security officials who served in Republican administrations endorse the vice president. And all of the things that the fact that these people aren't endorsing, the fact that Vice President Pence was the most loyal person there was to Donald Trump, he won't endorse him because he knows Donald Trump asked him to violate his oath of office. Now, that should also give you a lot of pause about J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is there because he will do what Donald Trump wants, and that makes him a particular danger to the Republic as well.
And I'll add to that point. Understand also what happened in the last few months when the Supreme Court essentially told the former president he will be immune from anything he does in office. So whereas before there was at least some threat of consequence and accountability, that no longer exists. And to the Congresswoman's point, imagine Donald Trump, based on everything we know about him and everything we see now and before, imagine him with no guardrails. Because all of those folks who worked with him before, they're not those who held him back, who attempted to ensure that he would follow the law, are no longer there. And we have the Supreme Court decision. So the stakes are very high.
Sykes, who opposes Trump and formally endorses Harris, began by making a joke about the event being held in crucial Waukesha County.
Here in Brookfield, Wisconsin, crucial Waukesha County.
He then asked Harris to explain why she was asking Republicans to set aside their party loyalty and policy beliefs to support her. Harris responded by emphasizing the importance of shared values and the protection of democracy, the rule of law, and national security. Cheney underscored the importance of setting aside partisan politics in order to protect the Constitution and the country.
Putting partisan politics aside and standing up for the Constitution and for what's right and loving our country more.
She reiterated that sentiment on Monday, condemning Texas's efforts to access women's medical records and expressing concern about women dying due to restrictive abortion laws. Cheney emphasized the need for federal involvement to protect women from these harms.
Even if you are pro-life, as I am, I do not believe, for example, that the state of Texas ought to have the right, as they're currently suing to do, to get access to women's medical records. I mean, there are some very fundamental and fundamentally dangerous things that have happened. And so I think that it's crucially important for us to find ways to have the federal government play a role and protect women from some of the worst harms that we're seeing.
She delivered a notable response to a question from a retired teacher saying,
if you wouldn't hire somebody to babysit your kids, you shouldn't make that guy the president of the United States. I mean, that's
Not all Democrats are happy with Cheney, or her father, former Vice President Dick Cheney, campaigning for Harris. Harris remained composed and took the opportunity to emphasize her and Cheney's shared belief in the U.S. security mission, including supporting Ukraine against Russia. Kathy Waller, a former executive director of the Waukesha County Republican Party, said she could no longer support Trump because he went against traditional Republican values.